Assalamu alaikum, peace be to you. My name's Ibrahim Malik Alameen. I've been incarcerated in the Department of Corrections formally from the age of 12 and a half until the age of 38, off and on. Which means, if we do the mathematics on that, I've actually served more prison time and been incarcerated longer than I have been a quote, unquote, free man in this world. I was incarcerated, like I said, for the majority of my life. I was released from prison May 3rd of 2016, which means I've been in the community now for approximately 3 years. Sadly and startling, this is the longest that I've ever been out in the community since I was 12 years of age. Every man and woman should have a foundation. For me, my foundation is Islam. Prison did not reform me. The violence in the streets could not reform me. I feared no one and nothing, not even Allah at the time. Upon entering prison, 2001 September, I had tried everything: drug dealing, womanizing, pimping, gangbanging, everything under the sun except for worshiping Allah. I initially went to the place of worship within Dodge Correctional Facility, where I was invited by brothers to the Musala. Initially brothers, I had intended on meeting individuals of my former organization and affiliation. By the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I did not meet them, but I met staunch Muslims who did not care about my past, who only cared about my soul and my eternal future. With that being said, upon learning Islam for the 16 years, I accepted Islam immediately upon entering into Dodge Correctional, alhamdulillah. I had 16 years to study under some of the most staunchest brothers in Islam. I found peace in Islam. I found peace amongst my brothers. I kept myself amongst other Muslims. Some of you know me, some of you do not know me. I didn't know which direction I was going, but I did know that the mosque was the correct direction for me to travel towards, and I stayed attached to the mosque. And even when I was not attached to the mosque, my heart was within the mosque. If it wasn't for the brothers upon my release who received me with open arms at the Dawah Center, I'm not sure that I would have made it. There's nothing that leads me to believe that I could have made it without Allah and without my Muslim brothers. I had tried that already and failed miserably. I've continued on at the mosque, not saying that I've been there every day, 5 times a day for salat, astaghfirullah. But I go as much as I possibly can, and I go when my heart calls me to the mosque. Had it not been for the deen, had it not been for my brothers, I don't know where I would have been. Had they turned me out and said, no, you're not from amongst us, we don't know you, I don't know what position I would have been in or found myself in. I may have gone back to multiple different crimes and violations against the law and against the deen. It is my brothers, when I see them, that brings tears to my heart and sometimes tears to my eyes. These brothers are very instrumental in the reformation of poor character to good character. To be attached to the mosque and not attached to the dunya or the streets, this worldly life, its fisk and fajor, the trials and tribulations of this life, the evil and the wickedness. If it is not for the brothers that have assisted me and aided me, I would have fallen back into that. There's no doubt in my mind. The Ibrahim House, I titled it the Ibrahim House of Hope, because I know what it's like to feel like you have no hope. I know what it was like when I was in there to say, you know, Aki, I'm going to get out here and go to the masjid, and, you know, just this perfect kind of idea that I had. I came in as a non-Muslim and I left out as a Muslim. I had no idea what I was doing once I was released. At the Dawah Center, there are programs provided, Feed the Community program. There is schooling available for children up into adulthood. There are various programs that are offered through the Dawah Center. And now, inshallah, with the Ibrahim House being in place, that will be a second tool. The Ibrahim House is right around the corner from the masjid. I know how important it must be to you brothers, because I was once in your position, to get out and find hope or to find a new connection, because people have disconnected from you. because you have become a criminal or because you have become Muslim and you're incarcerated. So now you're a criminal and a Muslim. I know how that must feel. I know how it must feel to call home and no one answers there, or I'm sorry, this number is blocked. I know what it feels like to hear that. At the Masjid, at the Dawah Center, you would never hear that. At the Ibrahim House, you would never hear that. Without the Ibrahim House and the Masjid, our community would be in trouble. There's no doubt. I don't know of any other housing program for Muslims specifically who are releasing from prison. And I've looked. I spoke with brothers in there about a house like this existing. MashaAllah, it now does. I came home, I went to a few different mosques. I'm going to be honest with you, brothers. Not all mosques are receptive of strangers. But in this day and age, we do understand the hesitation to welcome people into the masjid that we don't know, that are strangers. Brothers observe me. They've seen me, I'm sure. Brothers, I feel, know my heart. It's important for brothers to get out and have a place where they can say, this is safe. No alcohol or drugs are sold here. No demands are made of you to be here. You are not forced to be here, but this is a place of welcomed love, a place of leveling up, if you will, or elevation. For this to be a house and to be so short from the masjid, wintertime, summertime, or rain, you can walk. I know how you brothers feel in there. You would walk through anything to get to the masjid just one time. It is here now. Alhamdulillah. You have the available resources at your disposal. It's on us to make things happen. For the last 2 years, I've been working at Engine Transmission Exchange, which also works with convicted felons, straight out of the halfway houses, out of the Cheney Center. We take in individuals out of Marshall Shear, grant them an opportunity at training in the rebuilding and remanufacturing and manufacturing of transmissions. With that being said, I started off there as nothing but an entry-level forklift operator. That's it. I wanted more, I desired more, and I've been that way my entire life. I've always wanted more. I just went the wrong ways about getting it. So I beg of Allah to guide me. Allah guided me. Allah kept me. I did forklift for about 3 months before they recognized in me that they had something more than a forklift driver. I was promoted first within those 3 months of me initially being a forklift operator. Then I was promoted again to the supervisor over inventory. Then I was promoted again within a couple of months as receiving supervisor. Then I was promoted again by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to leave that department, request a transfer because the department was no longer good for me. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made a way and put me back in place as a welder, which I was doing prior to my incarceration, along with the other criminal activity. However, they kept me. They also seen they had a decent worker, a Muslim, a man that was willing to come to work and do what was needed to be done to take care of his family. With that being said, they are paying for my schooling out of pocket for advancing in welding. This is possible, and only with Allah. I never saw this for myself. Though I had a great support system out in the fields while I was incarcerated, I did not want to depend on them when I came home. I've always been a prideful man. With that being said, I hope that give you brothers some sort of hope. Like I said, some of you know me and some of you don't. For those that know me, you know my character, you know my drive. For the most part, you know my deen. There is success out here, Ikhwan, brothers. There is success out here. We have to desire it. We have to obey Allah, and we have to stay connected with our brothers who will keep us away from the fisk and fajur, who will guide us by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who will help us keep our heads up and our crown straight. I miss you, brothers. I love all of you, brothers. And you are in my du'a, and you are in the masjid's du'a for your success. We welcome you into our community. We are excited about you coming home. You will never be turned away. And as long as we are here, you will never be without. Wallahi. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. It's been an honor.